So look, there you are in your beautiful house, your Christmas tree. It's a lovely time of the year for people, isn't it? But when you have lost those that you love, it makes it all the more difficult because this is a time of the year for family. And you had a shocker, didn't you? Losing your father. What year was that? And then not long after losing your brother.
Yeah, I lost my dad 13 years ago now. And then I lost my little brother 10 years ago now. And it seems like a long time, but for somebody that's gone through kind of loss and grief, it stays quite raw. And I think it's always going to be raw for somebody that's lost somebody. And sometimes I think back and I think, how has it been 10 years that my little brother's like not been with me? Because it still seems like yesterday. And Christmas is always quite a tough time and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a very hard kind of journey to get where I am today with kind of how I deal with my grief and how I deal with my feelings, really.
I bet. I mean, you lost your dad, Paul, in 2008 to bone cancer, and then it was only 2 years later that your brother also got bone cancer, but a different type. Actually, I think my understanding is they weren't necessarily connected.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time, Jake? And how easy was it for you as presumably quite a young boy then to talk about it?
Yeah, it was really tough. Like I was 20, 21, 20, I think, when I lost my dad. So it was really tough, and they were kind of my years where I was going out and I was kind of finding out who I was. Do you know what I mean? And then to have my dad taken away, it kind of made me lose a bit of myself. But I still had my two brothers. So then when Oliver got diagnosed and kind of died so suddenly, I think he had it for 3 years, osteosarcoma, which is, yeah, like you say, kind of bone cancer. That just kind of flipped everything again, because I felt like I needed to protect my younger brother, and then I couldn't help him. And that's kind of something that stayed with me for a long time, the fact that I failed as an older brother, even though I know I didn't. I feel like that's how it made me feel. It took me a long time to get over that, and that's why I'm like an ambassador now to talk about your grief and talk about things, because I feel like maybe if I spoke about it a little bit sooner, and if I talked about the way I felt sooner, then I think I would have come to terms and kind of dealt with it quicker. But I didn't, and I didn't really know there was help out there. I didn't know there was charities, and that's kind of why I have partnership with Co-op Funeral Care, because they help people, and there is help out there, and there's free help out there. You don't have to pay for this help. And it's just talking and just opening up and meeting other people in similar situations that can kind of help you.
When it comes to grief, there's this acronym, isn't there, of I don't know whether you know this, Jake, you probably do, this idea of BABDA, and it's you go through these stages of recovery, and this first one being busyness. So when somebody dies, there's often a lot of busyness, isn't there? There's organising funerals, there's sorting stuff out, and then you might go through anger, where you're angry at the world and you take it out on your mates, and then you go through B, which is the bargaining, which is what you were saying then about if only I could have done something, if I could have stopped them going out on their bike that day, or if I stopped them getting in the car, or whatever it is. And then D, depression, very commonly. People will get very low, won't they, get very sad. And then ultimately to go through those two, acceptance is, do you feel like you are in that place of acceptance now, and what helped you to get there?
I'd like to think I am, and the fact that I can talk so openly about it now, and also I try and help other people with their grief, I feel like I have accepted it. And obviously I'm still going to miss them, and I actually met a lady in the street yesterday in Lincoln, where I'm currently working, and I met her 8 years ago on a cruise ship, and she remembered me, and we just was chatting away, and she just recently lost somebody, and she said, like, how does it get easier? And I said, I'm not gonna stand here and lie to you. Like, for me, it never gets easier losing somebody. You just start to deal with it better. And I said, like, the memories I used to look back on with my dad and my brother, they used to make me upset, but now when I look back on them, I smile, and I feel like I accept the fact that they're no longer with me, and I accept the fact that we had some amazing times together, and I've still got these cherished memories that will never leave my head. They'll never leave me. And the way I dealt with it and the way I got to where I am today is by just opening up and being honest about the way I feel. Like you said, the different emotions you go through. I think for the first 2 years for me, I was just numb. I was in a state of shock and a state of, I didn't want to believe it was real. So I kind of still pretended that they were still alive and I just couldn't see them.
I'm sure.
And that wasn't really healthy. So I started to accept the fact that they weren't coming back. And I think that's when I started to deal with it, and I started to open up more with my friends, with my family, and I've got a good group of people around me that help me through it. But if you haven't got that group, that's when it can be a struggle, and if you don't know who to turn to, you don't know who to talk to, that's when it becomes hard. But I always say that my Instagram's there. If anyone ever goes through anything, you need to chat. I'll always try and get back because I know how much it hurts.
Yeah, well, you're newly married. You have a beautiful wife. This is your first Christmas married. And you're in Panto, Jake Quickenden, this year. Where can we see you in Panto this Christmas?
Yeah, I'm in Lincoln at the minute. So I actually finish on Christmas Eve. So I've got quite a short run this year because I do want to spend my first kind of Christmas married. I've got my little 2-year-old. He's going to be 2 in February. So it's becoming a little bit special for him, and I've got my stepson, so I wanted to have Christmas Day and Boxing Day at home, but I'm currently working in Lincoln, but I can't wait to get home.
Life moves on, doesn't it, through all these different stages. But listen, thank you so much. I bet you've helped a lot of people today. Keep up your good work supporting those who are bereaved.